this video we are going to see about the microbial interactions. Like ourselves, the microbes also interact with each other, and also they can interact with all the living systems which is present in the environment. They can interact with plants, they can interact with animals, insects, and even with human. But sometimes this interaction may result in a positive effect, and sometimes it may cause some harmful effects. And based on the position of the microorganism in the host, it is classified into two types as endosymbiont and ectosymbiont. So in case of endosymbiont, the microorganisms is present within the cell of the host, and in ectosymbiont, the microorganism is present outside the cell of the host. And based on the type of interaction and based on the effect which is caused as a result of this interaction, it is classified into two types as positive interaction and negative interaction. If because of the interaction, if none of the organisms are harmed, then this interaction is called to be positive interaction. And if any one of the organism, between this interaction is among two organisms, if any one of the organism gets affected by this interaction, then it is called to be negative interaction. So mutualism, cooperation, commensalism, they come under the category of positive interaction. Commensalism, competition, predation, and parasitism comes under the category of negative interaction. Among these various types of interaction, today we are going to see about mutualism in detail. So mutualism is one of the positive interaction among two organisms. The term mutuous means it is a Latin word which means reciprocal or borrowed. And in case of mutualism, let us consider an example as A and B. If we consider A and B are two partners which are in mutualistic relationship, if so, A definitely give some components to B and B gets benefited, and in turn B must give something to A by which A also gets benefited, and they are dependent on each other, and so this relationship is called as obligatory relationship, which means both of them need to be survive together, then only both of them can exist in nature, otherwise both of them will get affected. So they must be in relationship always, then only both of them can survive, and so it is called as an obligatory relationship. So mutualist and host, they are always dependent on each other, otherwise both of them will get affected. Here is one of the example of a mutualistic relationship. This is a relationship between a food and a microorganism. The microorganism is Proteobacterium. So the relationship exists between aphid and a Proteobacterium, and this relationship has been existing since 150 million years ago. And here this Proteobacterium, they are providing 10 essential amino acids to the aphids, and aphids in turn, they provide shelter and some nutrition to the Proteobacterium which is present in the cytoplasm of the cells of aphids. And so this is an endosymbiont. The microorganism here, it is an endosymbiont. Why is it called so? Because here this Proteobacterium, it exists inside the cell of the host, that is inside the cell of the aphid, and so this is an endosymbiotic relationship. And also this is an obligate mutualistic relationship, because here if the Proteobacterium fails to provide the 10 essential amino acids, then aphid definitely cannot survive. And if the aphid fails to provide shelter and nutrition to the Proteobacterium, and Proteobacterium will get affected for sure. And so this relationship is called as an obligate mutualistic relationship. And here is another one example. This is a relationship between a protozoan and a termite, and of course we know termite, they always feed on wood particles. So for the digestion of wood particles, there is a need of an enzyme called as cellulase, because cellulose is the major carbohydrate which is present in the wood particle, and so for the digestion of cellulose there is a need of an enzyme called as cellulase. But this protozoan, this termite, actually this termite is lack of producing the enzyme cellulase. So they don't have the ability to produce the enzyme cellulase, and this cellulase is provided by the protozoan which is present in the gut region of the termite. So the protozoa, they provide the cellulase enzyme to the termite, and termite in turn they supply some nutrients to the protozoan, because this protozoan which feeds on the carbohydrate, that is the cellulose particle which is fed by the termite. And so the termite, they are incapable of producing the cellulase, and which is provided by the protozoan, and in turn the protozoan, they get energy sources, they get their diet from the carbohydrate which is obtained by the wood particles which is fed by the protozoans, termites. And here is the next example. It is the relationship between invertebrates and zooxanthalle. So invertebrates means the invertebrates which is present in the marine ecosystem. It may be sponges, jellyfish and corals, etc. And the zooxanthalle is a dinoflagellate. The relationship exists between zooxanthalle and dinoflagellate. So the dinoflagellates, they live within the tissues of the invertebrates. It may be coral, jellyfish or sponges, whatever it may be, the invertebrate of the marine ecosystem. They are present in the tissue of the invertebrates, and by being in the tissues of the invertebrates, the zooxanthalle, they exchange the gaseous molecules. So they exchange the gases which is useful for the invertebrates, and from the invertebrates, this dinoflagellates, they obtain nitrogenous compounds, phosphates, carbohydrates and some protection from the UV light. So here also this becomes an obligatory relationship, because if the invertebrates and zooxanthalle are separated, definitely they cannot survive, because invertebrates, they cannot have the ability to exchange the gaseous substances which is present inside the cell, so which is performed by the zooxanthalle, and zooxanthalle, they obtain the nutritional sources and also protection from UV light with the help of the invertebrates. And here is the final one example. This is a relationship between tubeworm and a bacteria. So this is a tubeworm named as Riftia. This is called as giant tubeworm, which is present in the hypervent region of hypothermal vent of sea. So this region is called the plume region, the one which is in red color. It is called as plume region, which is rich in hemoglobin, and this region is called as troposome region. So this giant red tube worm, it is present in the hypothermal vent, and this hypothermal vent, they are anoxic in nature, and there no oxygen can be found, and it is rich in methane, hydrogen sulfide and some other gases. This tube worm, they can survive in this hypothermal vent because of the bacteria which is present in the troposome region. How is it possible means, this bacteria which is present in the troposome region, they obtain the H2S, CO2 and methane gases from the seawater, and it is provided to the bacteria. And this bacteria which is present in the troposome, they utilize these various gases, and they fix the carbon, and they convert the carbon dioxide into some other organic substances like malate, succinate, and by doing so it is providing energy to the giant red tube worms so that they can survive. So because of with the help of these bacteria only, this giant red tube worm, they obtain energy, and this bacteria also, they are chemolithotrophic in nature. So they can obtain their energy from chemical sources. They cannot synthesize their own energy because they are not photosynthetic in nature, and they are chemosynthetic. So they can get their energy from the chemicals only. So these chemicals are supplied by this plume region of the giant red tube worm. So this plume region, they obtain the chemicals from the hypothermal vent, and it is supplied to the bacteria, and the bacteria which is present in the troposome, they are also utilize synthesize the chemicals for preparing energy, and this energy is supplied to the tubeworm for their survival. So both of them can survive when they exist together. If they are separated, they can also survive. They cannot survive, and so this relationship is once again becoming an obligate mutualistic relationship. By doing so, both of them are benefited, and in 1 gram of troposome, nearly 10 power 11 bacteria can be found in this region. So the take home message from this video is mutualism is one of the obligatory relationship, and both the host and mutualist must dependent on each other. They always must survive together, then only they can survive. So have a happy learning. Thank you.